the bigger battle or the war behind this is between a province who would want to dominate the highly urbanized city and between the city who does not want the encroaches of the province. Why do we say encroaches of the province? Wala pa gani kasugod ang palakat. Ang gobernador, for all his ethical posturings, naghambal siya nga i-endorse siya. May i-endorse siya sa highly urbanized city.
Stocking water is a must. Tanke is here. Locally produced. International quality. Tanke.
Dow imported. Nature's perfect lunchbox. For perfect eggs, fresh and clean, guaranteed all the time. For orders, text or call 0907-838-7958.
Attorney Archie Baribar is here with us, and he is a multi-term councilor of Bacolod City. For the past 18 years, he has served as councilor of the capital of Sugarlandia, and we'll be talking about the issue about Capital and City Hall later on. Wala ka kaagi, perdi, Councilor Archie, no?
As councilor na nakasugata man ako sa 92. My first try in 92 as a councilor, I did not make it. And then I also had postponed victories for my 2 attempts as congressman of Bacolod City. That was in 2004 and 2016.
Postponed victories. Hindi ka perdihan.
Yes, because we do not know the future.
Yes, yes. And you are running for your 3rd and last term?
This is my second.
Second.
On the 3rd run.
On the 3rd.
May I take...
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, Attorney.
Ask your dispensation. This ordinance that I pass is suffocating me.
Okay. Now, i-dispense na nanay. So the face shield ordinance remains.
Yes, the face mask and the face shield ordinance remains, as well as the social distancing and the quarantine and the curfew. Curfew.
Mm. And even if ang President declared that ang face shields are no longer necessary, that ordinance of yours is still in effect.
Unless there is an executive order by the President, at the very least, or a legislative fiat from both Congress and Senate, then our ordinance remains.
Yes, at least clarified. Now, let's talk about interesting political developments. Ang theme of the season, even if nga wala pa officially naglabot sa campaign period, but we are still engrossed over the call for change. You decided to stay with the group of Mayor Bing, Grupo Progreso, but were you at any point also courted?
They cannot afford.
What do you mean?
They cannot afford. Because even before things started up, I went here at your invitation and already fired the first shot.
You did fire the first shot.
So that was a message to them that don't mess with me.
Kudahaw ko sa Ilonggo pa, no?
Yes. Yes.
And your first message actually was for us to be discerning.
Yes, that is right. Because everybody wants change, even those who are trying to continue the development. But look at the messenger, look at the message.
Look at the messenger, look at the message. We actually we have been seeing the message for so long, no? And the messenger is, let's say, it's Albi Benitez. And why this question for us to look at the messenger and the message nga?
My sense had always been, can one lead a life and livelihood of vice? And will others expect him to do a governance of virtue? So if the life and livelihood is all vice, don't tell me that you will just come out and say change and then people will believe you that you are virtuous. Those are two highly incongruous positions.
All right, you're talking about his business being gambling.
I would be very charitable. I will not call it gambling.
Ano?
I will call it gaming.
Gaming.
But that is not business. Because in business, everyone knows that you have to create goods and render services. Does gaming create goods and render services? No. It creates vice. Because it encourages the opposite of industry. And industry is supposed to be the catalyst that will make development, that will make ascenso. How can you call for an ascenso if you are encouraging people to be on the vice side? So that is my sense. And I hope I am wrong.
And that is very interesting because asenso is actually lapit-lapit man sa progreso, you know. Though almost synonyms ni sila mo. But what you're trying to say, what are you trying to point out that even if you call for asenso and yet you are living a life of vice nga ginatawag nimo, hindi pwede matabo ina.
It cannot be. Diba? Where is integrity there? Where is the consonance of your words and your actions? So don't tell me that somebody is a savior just because he calls for a change. No. We'll have to look for the man, the messenger, where does integrity stands in his life. I hope I am wrong. I am not trying to be judgmental. But that is my inner sense. That is why I can never be convinced that somebody whose life and livelihood clings on to vices would give us a virtuous governance.
But even if we go look beyond his livelihood and look at his government track record, in government as a legislator, what can you say about this?
The only thing that attracts my attention when he was in Congress was the sugar bill. Aside from that, no, I did not see anything significant or earth-shaking.
But I remember you pointing out in our first interview nga you cannot compare an orange to an apple.
That is right.
Because he started out as a legislator, member of the House of Representatives, and he wants to take a position as chief executive.
Correct.
How important is integrity? I'm not saying it's not important to being a legislator, but kung mag-mayor ka, how important is it?
You know, ang isa sang rason kung nga ang ka-apathetic sa aton nga pumuluyo, ka-pessimistic, gahatag sang duda, kada magpalapit sa ila, isa ka tao nga associate nila sa traditional politics is because layo ang hambal sang sa himo. Wala? Ang aton nga tao sa idalom, hindi maginis sila ka-define nga integrity. Huwag pa gani ang iba na kabati sa integrity nga ginatawag. Pero kabalo sila kung ang iya hambal pareho sa iya ginhimo. Ang mula na kasimple.
Did he peak too early? Ano sa lantaw mo?
I think so. And I think it's because of artificial forces. Because it is not coming out of love to him. It is coming out of hatred to the present administration.
So that's an artificial force.
And that's artificial because you can never sustain hatred. You can sustain love but never hatred.
Daw pang Valentine's Day na. You can
get it from the 65 years of roller coaster experience.
Yes. So you can sustain love, but you can never sustain hate.
Yes.
But isn't that Philippine politics is all about? It's about hate.
And that makes us less mature as an electorate. That makes us more vulnerable to artificial forces also like money.
One of the debates currently, corollary sa sining call for change is the fact nga Bacolod is a highly urbanized city In fact, we belong to a lone congressional district and we are not part of the province.
That is right.
Ano ka-importante ini nga bagay? Wala sa may naga-discuss ini eh.
Ang nagadugay, Julius, ang akon nga sensya, hindi ni away sang duwa ka persona, hindi ni away ni Mayor Bing, kag sang nagatindog, da subong nga luyag mag-mayor. Hindi ni ila away. Proxy war ini. The bigger battle, or the war behind this is between a province who would want to dominate the highly urbanized city and between the city who does not want the encroaches of the province. Why do we say encroaches of the province? Wala pa gani kasugod ang palakat. Ang gobernador, for all his ethical posturings, naghambal siya nga endorse siya. May i-endorse siya sa highly urbanized city. Ngayon, ang highly urbanized city, when nagabuto sa gobernador. The essence why we had a local government code is to isolate the cities from the politics of the province. Why pa gani magano-ano ang mga asosasyon sa mga konsyales, nag-endorse man sang ila as if they have something to say in Bacolod City. And now, it appears na ang mga municipal mayors do may ara man. In fact, if I am not mistaken, some of my friends outside of Bacolod had noticed or observed that in municipalities where there are no opponents, where the promise to them that hindi sila pagpakontrahan, amo na nagapadala sang mga truckloads of transferees diri.
But it seems nga daw hindi madayon ang first plan was to lessen the political conflict sa mga banwa kag syudad outside of Bacolod, but it sems it's not happening now.
It's there is a little deviation, but the general rule is wala. And because in politics perception is reality, people believe that why nato kinontrahanay. So but the thing is, sa ako niya nga lantaw, ang eleksyon sa 2022 is away ini sang probinsya kag sang syudad. Luyag bala sang highly urbanized city nga ang magahom dire ang probinsya o kung hindi.
But let's talk about the wisdom of highly urbanized cities being excluded from provincial politics. Ano gid ang ginalinan sini?
Ang political reality nga ang capital city is the haven of all activities. Education, commerce, trading, halos tanan ari dire nagakadto. In fact, pati gani ang aton nga mga nagapamigado nga mga pumuloy sa sagwa, naga-in-migration dire sa syudad kaya ari dire ang tanan nga opportunities. Now, if you have a politics where the highly urbanized city will take the direction of the whole province, it can do so. Because now the political leaders will just come from the highly urbanized city to the exclusion of the rest of the province.
So the spirit of the law was meant to shield, to be fair to the province, nga hindi siya ma-dominate sang highly urbanized city.
Yeah, to be fair sa highly urbanized city, nga hindi siya pag-dominate sang province.
Okay, so it's the other way around. Now, why this trend? Why this intent? Say mo ginasiling nga the capital wants to superimpose itself on City Hall.
I really don't know. But maybe if we can trace back at our psyche, where the old rich here would not want to be dominated by the fast and rising middle class. Because Bacolod City, whether you like it or not, is middle class politics. This is not a political playground of the old rich or of the old names who may not have riches anymore.
So, in a way, can we say that this is also a proxy war for the middle class and the hacendado?
Yes. Precisely. So where are we now? Diba? Can you imagine the psyche of those hacendados who are sending their laborers here in Bacolod City to be registered as transferred voters, and then after voting, will get out and go back to their own haciendas, leaving us with nothing but their fake decision of imposing their will in Bacolod City?
But that is a strange political phenomenon.
Very, very strange. Actually, this is happening, I think, only in Negros Occidental and Bacolod City.
This has never happened before in our history.
Yes, never before, because there was a certain kind of respect to the constituents of Bacolod City. Now the province has disregarded that respect. They want to lord it over. I challenge Governor Lacson. Please issue a statement why your office hired 20-something plus political operators and then placed them as JOs under your budget.
That is interesting. Political operators of
Of the other party, of the white party.
the White Party. These are people in the employ of the White Party as political operators.
Yes,
And yet in the payroll of the capital.
yes.
Now, what's the problem with that?
Very big problem.
Why so?
Because that indicates what is your intention here in Bacolod City. You are spending money of that should go to the rest of the province. To what? To upset things here in Bacolod City? That challenge should be answered unless, of course, the good governor wants to lose his credibility.
But listening to you, it seems to me that there seems to be an obsession in capital to dominate City Hall. Nga, ano matiyag mo?
I don't know. It never happened before. It never
That's
happened
why.
before. It happened when somebody who is from another northern town became the consultant of the province.
Wait, northern town or city?
Oh, that's a northern place.
Northern. Is that person dead or alive?
Oh, he is very much alive. Very much alive.
All right. I can sense.
Yeah.
I can sense kung sino na. And this person you're referring to is or was hired by the political protagonist of the sitting mayor of Bacolod.
Let us place it this way. That person now is the protagonist of the incumbent mayor.
All right.
He was the consultant. Nobody will deny that. This idea of the province synchronizing its policies with the city during pandemic, whose idea was that? You cannot, for example, in pandemic times, you cannot synchronize the policies of the province, which is highly rural, and that of the city, which is highly urbanized. You cannot. There will have two different standards. So if you insist that there is only one standard, because you will not be allowed to come in that easy.
You've tasted empanaditas and buns, but have you ever tasted papas con chorizo, curried chicken, pulled pork, double cheese, and tuna basil? Only Jinki's Kitchen offers these flavors. Catch a bite now of Jinki's Kitchen empanaditas and buns at Kmart, Monsterific at Singkang and Talisay City, San Carlos, Silay City, Lopez East Center, and Lopez San Sebastian. Jinki's Kitchen empanaditas and buns, a pocket full of goodness.
Now, let's talk about national politics for a bit, Councilor. Ano matabo ni sa aton? Sinong mayo-mayo nga madlagan presidente?
Ako I have a heart for the underdog and the downtrodden.
And the downtrodden is?
Manny Pacquiao.
Pero kung upod ka mo sa ring, hindi kita downtrodden,
They will be trodden down.
But you are for Manny Pacquiao?
Yes.
Why so?
Because this is the only occasion where I feel there will be a revenge of the masses.
Revenge of the masses?
Yes, the masses will now have a champion who can articulate their own feelings, their fears, And whom they trust will not take things away from them.
But that was the same sentiment with Digong before.
No, my sentiment with Digong was more on federalism.
So it was more of the intellectual
Yes.
decision.
It was very hard to explain federalism to our common people.
Uh-huh.
But we did try. We did try.
Did you regret your decision supporting Digong?
In a way, yes, and in a way, no. In a way, yes, because he had actually said something different. He had ruffled all the feathers of all the elite. And no, because he had also ruffled the sentiments of our common people.
Yes. But I'll go to something else. No, I'll go to Archie Baribar. Okay, this interview is supposedly about you. 18 years as councillor, what is there left to do?
If I am given if these are ordinary times, I will say enough is enough. After reaching 65, I will hang up my gloves and will not allow anybody to say, I knocked you down. Now I am still at it because we are in a condition where we need all the help for the city to be stable. And I feel that my participation in the city council stabilizes things.
Mm-hmm. So this is more about being part of the city's survival.
Yes, that is right.
But this also comes at a risk to you.
Of course, when you have a billion opponents, what will you do?
No, but the fact that you are one of those who is considered as ang term da is senior citizen mo, it also puts you at risk.
Yes, that is why these past 2 years, while I was the one while yours truly was privileged to have the most number of ordinances in 2020, I was not out in the open. It was number of ordinances because of COVID protocols. That is what I focused on. But it's not something that made me very mobile. Yeah, in fact, I am conscious, especially if I am with my own kind, the senior citizens, because I might be bringing them not good news, but something that will make them feel bad.
Yes.
So we are under very trying times indeed.
You are unique in the sense that ako as a reporter and si Hana, we used to cover your sessions nga galabot kamo tag alas 10 sang gabi. You belong to a rambunctious council. Kamo kanday Nits Amihan, Indong Dilag, Puaki Ferrer, Wax Story. I mean, personally, I can say that that was the golden age of the city council. And now, you are one of those nga ang session nyo online na lang.
Yes, that is right.
So you have traveled through two periods, no? Nga lawig ka mo on-site and then subong online na lang. What is the difference? Anong feeling nimo?
Not much of a difference because we still express our thoughts on a lot of issues. But the only difference, I think, is we have now a situation where we are less in contact with the general populace. What I mean is that the ones who are looking at our session now, they are the gadget generation. Those who can afford internet, good iPhone. Whereas before, we have people coming from all walks of life.
Yes.
Whether they are there to listen to us or they are there to solicit our, to bring their solicitation letter, we did not mind. But I think that is the difference.
I remember way back then, ang mga reporters who actually stayed, ga-cover gidya thoroughly, in a way, do pareho na sa konsehal mo. Because we were so familiar with the proceedings of the sessions, subong lain na online na lang, no? So
yes,
there's really a change.
Our sessions before were highly educational.
Yes.
Even our ordinary people who are there, who would just listen, they get out with maybe with an empty solicitation letter, but they have something in their head. That when we go back to their areas, they can ask proper questions.
If I am not mistaken, you are the only counselor who belonged to the pioneering batch of the post-Marcos period nga ara pa subong.
No, Rene Novero is still around.
Is still around, no? So kamo na lang. Ang iban ano naglatabo na sa iban? Indong dilag.
Age overtook them. Sometimes the quest for material stability also overtook them.
Oh well. Joy Valdez is in retirement.
Yeah, Joy is resting, is in retirement.
Si Puake, went ahead.
Yes.
Passed on. Si Wax Story is in retirement.
He is into good business, I think. So.
Okay. Indong Dilag is still serving us sa Basiwa.
Indong Dilag left us prime water.
Left as prime water, no? Si Sinisa Miseen is still in retirement, but I think he suffered a stroke, no?
Yes.
Well, I saw him. It was sad, actually, to see him like that.
These are the people who chaired the Committee on Urban Planning and yet to continue to rent their own house.
Odd.
And I think lately when the son or the daughter left abroad, he was able to buy a small, decent house.
But I've noticed nga, at least ang mga konsyal sa una, you tried to live a life of simplicity, if I may say.
The financial aspect of our lives were transparent. In short, if I earn 1,000 pesos because of lawyering, our people will know it's only 1,000.
Saan ka lang nakabakal sa bago mo nga Lancer?
Lancer? Fortuner?
Lancer.
Ang Lancer
ano na subong salakyan mo? Fortuner na?
The Fortuner of Mrs. Baribar. We bought that in 2017 when I was already out of office, and we bought that for a 3-year installment with PNB.
For the longest time, ang salakyan mo, itong Lancer nga auto, no?
No, Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser.
Oo.
Nga sa subong ginabiyayon pa sa imo.
Ang subong, it's a relic in my garage. I'm not willing to sell it because it reminds me of a lot of fond memories.
What should we reflect on kay nag-amat-amat na init ng politika? Kag dugay-dugay, excited naman ta mo.
Yes.
What should we
Our
try
decision for 2022 is not only a decision for 2022, it's a decision for forever. It will be a choice between giving this to uncertain administrators, or giving this to our certain shall I say, managers now. You know, you look at Julius, if white prevails in 2022, what will prevent for white to be forever? Because they have all the resources. They have proven they can cut down a giant tree. They have proven that their money works. They have proven that province is with them. So that's end of the line. End of the story for middle-class intelligentsia in Bacolod City who would want to participate in governance. If it is red that will prevail, that is the last of Bing Leonardia. That is his last term. The next generation will be new. Maybe another Familiaran, maybe another Rojas, maybe another Ramos. But this will be coming from the middle class. And these are people who will have certain continuity with what is happening in the past. Development cannot be disruptive, cannot be segmentalized. It has to have one flow. It was very hard to get that flow. It took the present administration, Mayor Bing, for example, to get that flow after his first term. To disrupt that at this point in time may be counterproductive.
On that note, Councilor Archie Baribar, thank you so much.
Salamat gid, more power sa imo Julius, kag kabay pang ang aton nga mga kaabyanan, ka mga kauturan, mga supporters sa linsang 1992, 95, 98, 2010, 2013, kag 2019, magapadayon sang ilang paghatag sang trust sa kay Attorney Archie Baribar nga maging tingog sa gihapon sang aton nga middle forces in the city. Thank you and
luck, sir.
maayong adlaw.